What up, y'all? This is Tracy from Nerd Squish, and today we're going to be talking about the updates and developments to the Wolfman movie that will be hitting theaters in 2024. On December 13th, 2023, it was officially announced that a brand spanking new Wolfman movie would hit the theaters next year. Now, when I first heard this news, I was excited. And then I learned about more of the details and developments, and, well, the excitement slightly wore off. So you're probably wondering, how in the world is this girl that's obsessed with werewolves not excited about a Wolfman movie coming to theaters? Well, I'll tell ya, but before we get into the details, if you're a returning viewer, hey, how you doing? Welcome back. And if you're new here, this is Nerd Squish, where we take everything spooky and we take everything nerdy and we squish it all together. So if you like horror movies, classic monsters, and pop culture, definitely hit that subscribe button so you can see more videos from us in the future. So let's go back in time a little bit. Back in 2020, I made this video when we heard the news that Ryan Gosling was gonna be our new Wolfman with Derek Cianfrance directing the movie. I was so excited, like vibrating with excitement over this news. First and foremost, I was just excited that we would have a brand new Wolfman on the big screen. At that point in time, it had been 10 years since we had seen Larry Talbot on the big screen, of course talking about the 2010 Wolfman, starring Benicio del Toro. But you know, this was announced in the beginning of the pandemic, and well, chaos ensued. A lot of things happened, and honestly, we haven't heard any more news about this Wolfman project until now. So the question is, what changed to make me completely lose faith in this project? Change number one is the fact that Ryan Gosling has been replaced in the lead role of Larry Talbot by Christopher Abbott. Now I'm gonna start this off by saying that before this news dropped, I had never heard of Abbott. Every single project listed on his IMDb is either something I've never seen or I've never heard of. So honestly, this change and the fact that I'm upset about this is really no hate on him. If anything, I actually like the idea of having our main character, our monster, be kind of a no-name. Something about that makes the monster even scarier because you're really able to delve into the story. Instead of seeing a big name star play a character, you are more inclined to believe that you're actually watching Larry Talbot and the series of horrendous events that are unfolding in his life. That being said, I was extremely excited to see Ryan Gosling in this role. Gosling has been charming the ladies since he starred in The Notebook back in 2004, and rightly so. He's a handsome dude, and he played an extremely romantic character. But Ryan is so much more than just a leading man. He's played many different types of roles, and he is not a one-trick pony. He can do drama, he can do comedy, and he can do both of them extremely well. I was really excited to see what he would bring to the role of Larry Talbot, as I believe that he really could make this character more multi-dimensional, which I really think we need after Benicio's portrayal of the character. Now look, I love the 2010 Wolfman, but Del Toro in that role, I mean, he had the emotional range of a piece of cardboard. I love the movie, I love the monster design, I love the set design, and basically all the acting except for Del Toro. He was the one thing that just didn't fully allow me to love that movie. But I do really actually love that movie, just not him. So while I'm sad to see Ryan go, I am actually very interested to see what this new up-and-coming actor can bring to the role. Change number two is that Derek Cianfrance has been replaced as the director by Leigh Whannell. While losing Ryan was pretty upsetting, this is the change that really made me lose faith in this project. Whannell is the same director who brought us 2020's remake of The Invisible Man. Now, I know a lot of people see The Invisible Man remake as one of the more successful of the modern monster remakes, but I see it as a movie that took a universal monster and made it a monster. Now, I understand that these monster movies don't have the same impact today as they first did when they premiered back in the 1930s through the 1950s.
I think it will thrill you. It may shock you. It might even horrify you. So if any of you feel that you do not care to subject your nerves to such a strain, now is your chance to, well, we've warned you.
Modern audiences aren't as easily scared, so you do have to take a different approach. Which I totally respect. I am a firm believer that we have to refresh these, we have to update them, we have to do a little something different than what we once saw in a black and white movie. But at the same time, I feel like we have to stay true to our subject matter to make a truly great Universal monster movie. In my opinion, Winnell's Invisible Man made it all too realistic. And now, I'm not saying that taking these monsters and putting them in a modern, realistic setting is necessarily bad. However, it took the mysterious supernatural aspect out of the monsters and incorporated more realistic horrors of toxic relationships. I'm not here to see domestic abuse and the newest technology that's here to ruin our lives. If I want to see that, I'll watch the news. When I walk into a theater to see a Universal monster movie, I want to see actual monsters. I want to see men driven to insanity amongst a supernatural and macabre setting. So here's to hoping Winnell doesn't follow the same pattern that he did in Invisible Man. Now, the only other real detail and development that we got out of this news, besides obviously our leading man and our director, is the fact that the story will follow a man and his family that are being terrorized by a lethal predator. Now, this is at least good news because this description does give me faith that this is a legit creature feature, which it sort of has to be, because what's a Wolfman movie without an actual werewolf? But there's a lot of things that could still hurt this werewolf feature. Here are two other factors that I'm worried about. The single most important thing in a werewolf film is the werewolf design. Now, as long as they give us something that is a werewolf, okay? I'm talking half man, half beast, not overly CGI'd, I'm happy. I want to see something in this design that is original, but still pulls that inspiration from the 1941 original. The 2010 Wolfman remake executed this perfectly. In that beautiful Rick Baker makeup, you could see that original design, but in a new and terrifying way. Don't give me a dude that just turns into a wolf. Don't give me a design that's so just terrible that it makes a good movie bad. Give me a beautiful, practical werewolf design, or I will riot in the streets. Leigh Whannell worked with Odd Studio to create the invisible suit that was featured in Invisible Man. And that same exact studio made the werewolf suit that you could see in Wolf Like Me. So, I'm hoping that for this, they'll team up with Odd Studio again, and because they've kind of worked on Universal monsters before, but they have experience with werewolves, we can get something really, really cool that we're all gonna love. My foot is asleep. I can't concentrate. Trying to talk about werewolves. And my foot is tingling. What the hell is this? Now, one of the details that makes me most nervous about this project is the fact that the release date is October 25th, 2024. That's not a whole lot of time. That's literally less than a year. And, it can be done. It really can. But I feel like the details that, you often need in a werewolf film with the design and the makeup, I don't know. That time crunch has me sweating a little bit. And on top of that, it's a Blumhouse production, because apparently the only horror movies that exist these days are put out by Blumhouse or A24. Now, Blumhouse is perfectly capable of making a pretty solid film, but as of late, they just haven't been doing that. Their two most recent films were The Exorcist Believer and Five Nights at Freddy's, which were both just underwhelming, in my opinion. Like, I think the most exciting thing for me about Five Nights at Freddy's was the fact that the mall that I mall ratted around as a kid was in the movie. Shout out to Oakwood on the West Bank. And look, maybe that's coming from somebody that just didn't play the game, doesn't know anything about Five Nights. But looking even further back at some of their other more recent films, like, they're just a little stiff. Like, they're okay movies, they're kind of forgettable. Like, I wouldn't say they're terrible, but they're just forgettable. The production company has become such a big money maker that a lot of their movies are franchises and are suffering the MCU effect. And let's face it, horror movies just don't hit the same when you're using the same formula over and over and over and over and over and over again. Now, all of this being said, I'm still excited about this film. It's the Wolfman, y'all. I remember the hype that I had going to see the Wolfman back in 2010. The feeling of seeing a Universal Wolfman film for the very first time in theaters, that feeling's unmatched. And it was worth it because I absolutely love that film. It was the perfect modern update to the Wolfman. It wasn't modernized in the way of setting the story in modern years or making it more realistic. They took the same story, tweaked it a little bit, and just perfected the werewolf, the set design, and the gore to satisfy modern audiences. At the end of the day, I think us Wolfman fans are lucky that we're even getting a new Wolfman movie. Let's face it, it's been 3 years since we initially heard the news about Ryan Gosling starring in a new Wolfman film, and at this point, because we hadn't heard anything, I thought this project had been swept under the rug. So I really shouldn't have been as shocked at this news as Lee Winnell was at the end of Saw. But yet, here I am, screaming because I'll never see Ryan Gosling play Lawrence Talbot.
Not anymore.
So over the months leading up to October 25th, 2024, I'm sure we're gonna see all kinds of sneak peeks and trailers to show us what this newest film will provide. And no matter what, I am gonna sit in that theater excited to watch this film. What remains to be seen is if I'll still feel excited when the credits are rolling. So what do you think about the developments on Wolfman 2024? Are you excited? Are you disappointed? Are you hoping that I'll stop talking about werewolves and move on to a new topic?
But I never go to store.
Let me know in the comments. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a big old thumbs up. It really helps out the channel. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so when new videos hit the channel, you'll be notified. And as always, thank y'all for watching, and I'll catch you nerds later!